Hello there, my name is Anita Woo, and today at Varnam we have two very special guests. And the theme today is about Merdeka. So Merdeka this year holds quite a special place in our hearts due to the pandemic, but also despite the pandemic. And I say that because our fellow Malaysians, some of them especially, have found very creative ways to express in their own unique way their appreciation, love, gratitude and patriotism towards the country, as well as the frontliners who have sacrificed a lot during this pandemic. Today we'll be introducing to you ZOBHA, a homegrown fashion brand founded by established local designer Pavitra Varathan, who is here with us in studio, who has launched a remarkable campaign celebrating Merdeka in its own way, especially because this year we haven't been able to go out and celebrate the way we usually do. Today in studio we have two out of the three key members behind ZOBHA's Merdeka campaign, namely Pavitra as well as Vithya Visvendra, here at Varnam to share more about this brilliant campaign. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. All right, so Pavitra, thanks for joining us in studio today. We're wondering, what was the inspiration and the motivation behind this campaign, and especially this year?
So the inspiration behind this campaign is actually us, the Malaysians, the unity that's in us, that I wanted to bring and show to everyone that even during this pandemic, I know everyone has been affected, and everyone, some of people, they don't even know what they are doing. They felt very upset, they are down. Yeah. So, you know, something like this, when we come up with, we actually show them that we are together in this and nobody is going to let go another down. So that was behind this entire campaign.
Okay, Pavitra, so maybe we can start off with the pièce de résistance, which is the Merdeka sari. Can you tell us more about the different elements? Because it's such a beautiful, vibrant sari. I can see elements of the jalur gemilang, but yes, tell us, you know, what made you choose which element for which part? Tell us more.
Okay, if you look at the sari is like about 6 meters. 5 meters of the sari is representing the our jalur gemilang, where there is the star and the moon representing the states and also the tribes. And the 1 meter of the headpiece of the sari is, there is our Bapak Kemerdekaan, there is our iconic buildings. This is a thing that I said earlier, that it has to be a historical thing for people to appreciate the piece when you want to donate it to the museum.
Yeah, this is the skyline represented today.
Yes, yes,
this
correct.
is KL skyline today.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is what is in the sari, and it's actually a borderless sari where the gold threads are only at the headpiece. The entire sari, the rest of the 5 meters of the sari is made of the silk thread. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, just check it out. The vibrancy of the gold threads really come through, and it actually does remind me of our notes. Yeah. You know, the dimensions come through. That is so beautiful. And so tell us more about this concept of a borderless sari. I'm definitely wearing a ZOBHA creation as well. And it's a very, I'm so amazed because it's so light, yet it feels really luxurious and lush. So can you tell us,
that is a borderless Kancheewaram sari. So if you look at the details of it, like people always think that you must have a gold thread in a Kancheewaram sari. Actually, this has got none. And you feel light is partly because of that, because it's made of only pure silk threads. Yeah.
We'll come back to the topic of the Kancheewaram saris in a little bit. We'll progress now to this campaign, which there's been a lot of buzz about. What we're wondering is, how was that process for you? What was the thought process behind it? How was the execution? Did you have fun?
Of course, I had fun. Okay, maybe it's the team that I actually collected in this campaign. They are all very supportive. The first thing, like when I approached them, they were all felt proud. Yeah. You know, there is a difference between working with people who are happy to work with you and also feeling proud about the campaign is another thing. Like, they all have that inner feelings in them that they want to bring out the best. Like, for an example, the main two models, they are both actually Merdeka babies, so they have always been patriotic. Yeah, they have always been patriotic. So having them, like one of them had tears when we actually pinned the sari on their shoulders. So those are the things that made me to, like, I know that I can achieve it, having them. Like for an example, having Vithya on board, she's not a Malaysian, but she's married to a Malaysian. You know, like we always say that, you know, like even when it's come to tourism Malaysia, we always say visit Malaysia. So you always welcome the outsiders. So I wanted someone like that to be a part of this campaign in order.
Well, she's no longer an outsider because she's married. She's married into Malaysia.
So I wanted her to have that feel of working with the multiracial Malaysians, and I also had another makeup artist who's a Malay who was part of this shoot.
Umi, right?
Yeah, Umi. So we had fun in overall, and we had a Chinese photographer, we had a Chinese and Indian videographer.
Very Mohiba.
So it was,
very One Malaysia, very Mohiba.
In the entire campaign, everyone was talking about, you know, their own race, you know, they do this, you know, it's a very, it made me to think like back in school. Like I don't have much Indian friends, I have all Chinese and Malay friends.
That's me too. No, I had Indian and Chinese friends, yeah.
So, you know, it made me to go back there, like when I come to this business, I'm always meeting the race of my own. So it was a different feel after some time, meeting all these people and working together. It was so fun.
I think it's so beautiful how the spirit of kemerdekaan and unity, the very fibers and threads of our society, the multicultural society has come through not just as a concept but in execution as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's a true Merdeka project. On that note, Vithya, yes, I can't even say welcome. You've probably been around for a while. You are one of us. Thank you. But yeah, how was your experience? I mean, you know, it's quite different. I mean, obviously in London, it's also quite a multicultural pot, melting pot. But how was it working on this Merdeka project?
I definitely felt honoured. It was such an honour to be asked to be part of this. And as much as, you know, being in London or having grown up in London, yes, you're in a multicultural sort of surroundings. But then because I specifically do bridal makeup, I work with the Sri Lankan and Indian community the most. So it was nice to have that opportunity to work outside of, you know, my community that I predominantly work with. So working with the Chinese, the Malays, and kind of being part and almost feeling included. And I think that's what you kind of want when you move to a new country. And
that's a great introduction.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it was like a nice way of being part of this and, you know, honoring and being part of the celebration and getting to know people as well. So it was definitely, I would say the word would probably be being honored for sure.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. In speaking about this shoot as well, the thing that created a lot of buzz was not just the beautiful Merdeka sari on Tanuja and Anuja, but also the other pieces, which were quite interesting. They had its own very unique look, and the accompanying tops as well by Trihamsa. And tell us, what was the motivation behind each of the accompanying designs?
Okay, so what I wanted to create behind this looks was actually, I don't know how many of you all had the chance to travel out during this pandemic, but because of my shop is located in the center of KL, I actually had the privilege to travel 2 to 3 days alternately to my shop to see how is the situation. So when I traveled on the road, I saw this police, this army officers who are actually at the roadside on the hot sun, was serving us. Like we are nicely sitting at home, you know, enjoying what we enjoy. But they were working for us day and night, and you can see daily news about so many doctors didn't go back home. They have to quarantine themselves at home.
And despite the festive season as well, there were 2 rayas being
They
celebrated.
have to be away from their own family, even they stay nearby, you know, all these things was actually very disturbing. So like I said earlier, instead of we showing an appreciation to from only our culture, we can also show an appreciation to these people, like who are the real frontliners. So I actually had this people that I saw that probably this police and army was there in my mind already, and the doctor was there, and of course firefighters, like they were all there, the first people that I saw in my actual scenes. So those are the inspiration behind the look.
Oh, this is fantastic. And what about your choices to pair the designs with specific models? Tell us more about that process, you know, because you chose Tanuja and Anuja to carry out the sari. You know, in today's discussion as well, there's a lot of debate about what is cultural misappropriation. and that fine line between cultural misappropriation and cultural appreciation. And it's really delicate and fascinating in Malaysia because we actually are a society that are so interwoven with each other. As you had mentioned earlier, in school, if it's Deepavali, whether or not you are Indian, everyone's wearing an element of, like, you know, whether it's a something, whether it's a Nehru neck collared top or an element, you know, and the same with Chinese New Year and Raya. There is the appreciation. So how did you maneuver that balance in terms of how, when you picked your models on the shoot?
It was quite easy for me because what I wanted out of the main sari was someone who can carry it proudly. So of course it was Tanu and Anu. Initially it was only one sari, so I wanted to have a different character for one of them. But then I was thinking that, you know, like both of them every year, they are very proud to be a Malaysian. They always been patriotic living in Malaysia. So
and being born on Merdeka as well.
Yeah. So there can be never another person that can replace that carrying the sari proudly than them.
And it is about unity,
yeah,
after all, right?
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
Yeah.
So, you know, so what we decided was having it as two pieces instead of making it one, and it will look more strong and solid together. Then it goes to the other four characters, which is the police, army, doctor and firefighter. So choosing the other four was also quite easy because when I got the proposals, like who we are looking into, they all, each and every single of them carries different values. Like if you look at Shikin, she's very solid and strong, so she carries the army look very well. Like Carrie, she has got also this very strong and, you know, like that solid look, like a police officer, like that kind of thing. So, you know, it was quite an easy process. Like I wasn't having a tough time choosing them. And also my only requirement out of my team was I wanted to be multiracial. Like we know Tanu and Anu is already an Indian. Let's look into other prospects so that we can make us to look unity. Like we don't only say things, but we do things and show things. Yeah.
Are there any thoughts sparking from this? You know, we can understand, you know, this is also one of these ideas. Have you had any thoughts so far of incorporating our East Malaysian brothers and sisters, some of those cultures in? Yeah,
we did, but I think because of the time constraint, we didn't get them in here. But yeah, I'm actually quite happy that even though they are East Malaysians, but they are also Malaysians, so it's nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful. I mean, sometimes we forget the diversity that we have thanks to our East Malaysian sisters and brothers. Absolutely. Okay, so thank you so much for that, Pavitra. Vithya, being an international makeup artist, how did you find things different here and then how things worked?
In terms of like makeup, you mean?
Well, obviously besides the weather.
Oh, Malaysia in general, you mean? Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the UK we have seasons and we have the winter, and so weather was definitely a huge thing.
Was that challenging? Just because a lot of the shoot was handled outdoors, right?
I mean, we were sweating buckets, I'm not gonna lie. But then I think, you know, as long as I wasn't the model, I was like, I don't care what I look like. No, I think, no, when you want something and you want results and you want it to, you know, be the way you want, and obviously because it's Pavitra's concept as well, and I think she was the, you know, the main person there wanting the shots that she really wanted so that it really represented, you know, and just kind of like, yeah, her ideas as well, I think. And then we were just there making sure like the hair and makeup looked okay, and, you know, like for like the shots and stuff. So it was a great experience. I think the team in general, I think it's so important that when you are at a shoot that everybody gets on and everyone's having a laugh, and, you know, and everyone wants the same thing out of the shoot as well, and just the vibes, I think. So it was just a really good day and loads of good food as well. So that was a good thing.
That is, if there's one thing, you're definitely Malaysian now, yeah.
Yes, the food. I was gonna go on to food. I'm like weather and then food, but yeah, definitely.
This is great. Pavitra, let's go back to a little way back into the storyline. So we now know you're an established designer. I think it's wonderful that you have incorporated such detail into this campaign, into these specific 4 pieces. can you tell us how you made that transition in your career? Because my understanding was, I thought that you were a designer all this while, like that, you knew that from the moment maybe you graduated, not you were born, but yeah, but I understand that you were an interior designer. How has that colored your work as a designer?
True that you say that. I'm actually an interior designer, like 6 years back. So along the way, it actually a very personal journey. After I got married and I got pregnant, so I was like, I always attend to customers on odd hours. Like it really gets late because my clients are high-end clients. So at one point I was just thinking that, how long am I going to do this? And it's not going to be fair for my baby. Yeah. So it actually hit me quite early. So like what I say, I was just thinking if I'm doing the right thing and if I'm going to justify myself as a good wife. So all these things was actually running in my mind. So then it makes sense to me. I've always liked designing. I've always liked something authentic, something very elegant. So I sat and think what I actually want to do. Like I'm definitely not going to do interior design throughout. So
that's quite a pivot.
Yeah. So then when I was thinking what I can do, then I discovered that, when I got married, I didn't have the luxuriness of having good silk sarees. I had to go all the way to India to get it done and all that. So I was thinking that why don't we in Malaysia invent that so that people have that access to get premium and quality silk sarees, because I think that is something that we are lacking here. So that's what made me to move my line. And touch it, it's actually pretty good because I have customers who can understand what I'm selling. That's what is important, like quality is important.
Yeah, I think it's really quite interesting because when I put this sari on, I realized that it really crossed the border. I mean, without borders, really quite literally, pun intended. Yeah. But it was nice because it's dressy enough to go for a formal occasion, but it's not too dressy that you can only wear it for special occasions.
Yeah, and you drape it within 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, you did. I can't say the same for me. But what I loved about it was also the fact that, not only does it feel lightweight, it looks luxurious, and it does the job. Right, and I'll be in your showroom soon.
Please do.
Tell us more about ZOBHA, and how you came up with this concept, what it means to you.
So when I initially started ZOBHA, everyone has this question whether ZOBHA is my name. ZOBHA is not my name. My name is Pavitra Varathan.
If you haven't already gotten that, yeah.
So I wanted to name my business under a name where it shows what my character is. Like I always like elegant things, like my family knows this. So I was thinking everyone names their business under their name. Like it's always their name and then the business name. So I was like, okay, we should name something that's catchy and also it has a meaning in it. So ZOBHA means elegant in Sanskrit.
Nice.
So that is another signature wordings for Indian vocabulary. So I wanted to name ZOBHA as the elegance.
That's beautiful, and it comes through. It really does come through in your creations and through you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what kind of competition are you facing at the moment with the sari business? We do know that there's a lot of competition out there. How do you, I suppose this is obviously one way to differentiate yourselves from the rest. But prior to this, how do you differentiate ZOBHA from the rest?
Okay, if you look at it, if you look at competition, business-wise, of course, there is competition. But the actual thing that happens, I'm a designer. I design my saris. Each and my saris are being designed and being weaved by my own weavers in Kancheewaram. Yes, hand-woven. So if, let's say, I'm going to compare myself with people who go to India, buy in bulk and come and sell, that is not competition. So you're out of that league. So I'm not really pushing, I'm not really pushing myself into there, but if you look at overall, like for a customer, a sari is a sari. They don't see a difference. So they look at it like another shop. But like what I say, I do have my line of customers who understand how is the saris being made. These are like one piece, one design kind of thing. Like it's exclusively made and it's only owned by them. These are the difference that people need to understand.
Custom made.
Yes, it's a custom made.
And I think nowadays people want that kind of.
Yes.
They
You
want
wanna
to know
feel
where
luxury,
their clothes come from, what they're
Correct.
wearing, how is it made.
Correct.
A lot
I
of it's
think
being
they-
bespoke as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
correct,
So I
correct.
think that's where she stands out because she does bespoke and custom make
Correct.
something for what you
Correct.
want.
Brilliant. And I also really like the theme as well of just being able to pivot, you know, really asking yourself the tough questions and saying, hey, you know, sometimes motherhood does that to you. It makes you ask the really important questions. So this question's for Pavitra first in terms of as an anak Malaysia, as a Malaysian, and in the theme and the lead up to Malaysia Day on the 16th of September, do you have any messages? Do you have any message for your fellow Malaysians and aspiring designers and whatever it is that you wanted to express with this campaign?
I just want us to be unite and be together. Like we all have to help each other, and you know, you don't compete and you know make things worse, or you don't push another person down. Like we are all together, and in the sense of you have friends, you have family, you have co-workers who want to lift you up. That's what I want. I don't want people to like keep fighting here and there for no reason. Like you see, we all are here to be together. I mean, that is what been taught to us since small. So I like that spirit. I always love that energy around the people around me.
We need to celebrate more diversity is what you're saying, right?
We should celebrate all of us.
There is such a wealth in our diversity, and I don't know if you feel it, Vithya, but it's you know, how many laws have you picked up, for example?
I haven't. I haven't.
Not yet. Not yet, La.
I like the yet.
But you know, I think there's a certain element, there's an innocence about Malaysians that that you see when we do come together, when we recognize ourselves as equals with each other, each having, you know, something unique to bring to the table. Have you sensed that at all? Like, you know, you could have, like on your project, for example, some people talking purely in Tamil, some in Malay, you know, but then everyone comes together, you know, some in
And you know, when
Mandarin
you are
or-
together, you create bigger things. Like it doesn't only within your community, you tend to create a bigger things. Like for instance, like from this campaign, I received a lot of personal calls, messages, emails from the other people, other races, congratulating, and they feel so proud. They feel, you know, there's a lot of things like that make me to move on, like I've done something right. So it's something very important, like you don't have your own community to make things bigger. Like
it has an impact to affect society, and if society involves is multicultural, then that's what we should be celebrating, right? So ladies, as we were talking about this whole theme and the concept of it, do you think then it's more apt to perhaps describe us as a more multicultural than a multiracial society?
yes, definitely.
Right. I think we sometimes forget and you say, well, different races, but in actual fact, we all belong to the human race. It's one race, celebrating different cultures and expressing ourselves through different cultures. So yeah, that was actually, that really arose in me from just speaking to you ladies and speaking about the concept and the spirit behind your campaign. So thank you
And
for that.
hopefully everyone thinks that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is a point of discussion. On that note, you know, like, how have you felt? It always somehow takes someone from the outside, you know, whether it's the British, no pun intended, you know, as a Commonwealth, Independence Day. No, but sometimes it takes us, you know, I find that we Malaysians, no matter what our culture or background is, whenever we're overseas, that's when we're like, la 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 la, in Bahasa, right? And have you encountered that in Malaysia? Have you found any challenges in terms of you know, people maybe speaking their own dialect and feeling left out perhaps?
No, not really. I mean, I thought I was going to before moving here. I thought I would have that challenge, but then I think everybody here speaks English. I mean, the people that I've come across anyway. So it's just been quite easy to sort of communicate. And I think sometimes, like, we do our sign language, like we use our hands to just express something, and then they get it as well if maybe their English is not maybe their first language. So it's been actually really, really, like, I've not faced any challenges myself, if I'm being very honest. So yeah.
No, that's wonderful. And if you do, and if ever you do, I just like to say, on behalf of Malaysians, sometimes we're just really, we're actually shy if we're not good at the command in a language. And so it's not personal. It's really just because we're more confident speaking. But you'll be fine. They'll be like, oh, ini kakak cakap England, sangat bagus ni. This is your England is so good. Yeah. Malaysian joke. Yeah, but that's it. All right, ladies, thank you very much for being here today. Yeah, and it's been such an honor to peel the ideas behind the campaign. And thank you for sharing intimately as well, your experiences and bringing the spirit to life.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and in advance, Happy Malaysia Day.
Yes.
Happy Malaysia Day.
Saya rasa bangga berada sebagai barisan hadapan membantu negara dalam membentong gejala COVID-19 ni. Kita kena berdepan dengan masyarakat, suruh mereka mematuhi SOP, memang bekerjasama dengan kita.
I've been living outside, but nothing beats Malaysia. The whole medical team, Chinese, Indians, Sabahans, the Bumiputras, everyone is there to help manage these COVID-19 patients.
Kami sebagai frontliner sentiasa berada di luar, akan berhati-hati untuk bersentuhan dengan family kita kat rumah. Merdeka pada tahun ini adalah berbeza daripada Merdeka sebelum. Kami anak Malaysia.
Satu suara, satu semangat.
One voice, one spirit, the whole nations.
Kuala Lumpur 31 hari bulan Ogos tahun 57.